How do you unmute them? Over here.
Kathy, you might want to tip the screen towards you just a little bit. I can
Oh,
see the
yeah.
top of your head. I can see the, there you go. I can see all of you now. I can just see the top of your head. Just the four of us so far?
Yeah, 1, 2 is Chad.
Okay, I see Kate Cronin is with us. Chad's iPad is with us. Nice. Well, anyway, I'll call the meeting to order at 7:01. And I have reviewed the select board minutes from our previous meeting. Have you both?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, and signed. And
Yes.
so
I signed
I'd
it
like to,
yesterday.
I move we approve the minutes as written.
Second it.
Okay, and all in favor? Nice, thank you. And I also have had the opportunity to review the warrants, and I see that you two had it as well. So I'd like to move that we approve AP warrant number 19 and the payroll warrants from January 26th and February 2nd.
I'll
A
second
second.
it.
All in favor? Great, moving right along. I'm going to assume that we haven't got any report from the RSU. Is that correct, Leanne?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, well, on to road report. We have our winter road closure list.
I think we want to table that for now.
We're going to table that for now. Yeah, I was going
Yep.
to say I don't see the list in my packet, or maybe I'm missing something. Okay, well, we can table it for now, and maybe that's when we can take up the topic of Gurney Hill Road, because we certainly did have some incidents on that this weekend. Anyway, table that for now. Nothing else to report on roads, I assume?
We had 2 road complaints.
We do have 2 complaints. I see. We have one that is Lori Swan, who says that the second time in 2 weeks, the plow guy has knocked my mailbox off. Is your mailbox still intact, or do you need a new one?
Still intact.
Okay, because I have another one for you if you need it.
No, still intact.
Great. Okay. And the other one is from Linda Porter. She says the plowman plowed the road and left the snow in the middle of the road, so her plow guy couldn't get to her house.
That's right. Good thing there wasn't an emergency either, because even the ambulance couldn't have gotten through.
Well, so her plow guy doesn't have a plow on that he couldn't get through? Well, I guess, you know.
No, because there was so much snow and he left it right in the middle of the road and.
Yeah.
it was just a
No, I
small
guess I can
versus-
understand that. I can understand
Small
that.
pickup versus a big plow truck.
Mhm, sure. No, I get it. I get it. But I think that it's also important to recognize that they were dealing with a pretty big storm.
Well, Bimmy said one of the drivers had gone up there that never been up there before. So evidently he didn't swing it off to the right as much
Mhm.
as they could had.
Yeah. Well, that is of course always a thing with a new driver too. But I guess then now that they've see the complaint was forwarded to BIM, and presumably he knows about it and will straighten out his crew.
Yeah.
All righty then.
Mm.
I didn't notice a CEO report this week. I'm assuming, wait, I take that back, because I did sign a pay slip that had to do with a plumbing permit, but I didn't see any ACO stuff this week. Is that correct, Leanne?
Yep.
Okay,
Well,
all righty then. And the ACO as well?
No report.
Excellent, moving right along. Do we have any report from the planning board?
Nope.
Yeah, only just that they've got a new guy and will show up on the first Monday. So that's all good. We have the ordinance committee and the proposed beach ordinance. Have you two read through this and determined what you want to do about this beach ordinance?
Seemed to look okay to me. Does it you?
Yep.
Send it to the lawyer. Ready to send?
Yeah, I think maybe that's, excuse me, I'm having a little technology moment here. Alrighty, back. Yeah, I think we should send it to the lawyer and see what they say about it.
Okay.
There are very few ordinances that we don't want to forward to the town attorney. If we're gonna have to take it to town meeting, somebody's gonna ask us, well, has the lawyer looked at it?
Yeah.
And we want to be able to say, yes, they have.
Lee,
So-
this is Tim Kerwin. Are
It
there
sure
any
is.
change- are
How's
there
it
any
going, Tim?
change- That's awesome. What more could you ask for?
Not much.
18 inches of snow in Sunday River tomorrow.
It is to be hoped.
They're happy. Anyways,
Well, and it's 35 degrees and raining right now. here.
yeah, I know.
But maybe
really-
it's a little better there.
it's yucky. It's gonna be a mess everywhere.
Yeah, it's not great right now. And the tar roads are clear and nice, but the dirt roads remain frozen, and when the rain hits it, they are gonna slicken up very fast. My road is already a little bit greasy, so. Anyway, so you were saying, Tim?
I just had a question on the beach ordinance. Are there any significant changes to the beach rules and regulations?
Gosh, I wish Lenny was here to answer that. There's a couple things that have been tightened up a little bit.
The constable still, keeping an eye on it, and I was.
Well, not in the winter time.
No,
He
I'm not.
retired anyways.
He has not retired yet,
Yeah.
but he is
was
planning
good.
to retire.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to appoint a new constable. They're mostly, a lot of it is pretty much the same as it was before. Some of the changes are taking out, there was some vague language about a beach recreation committee. Now, we do have a recreation committee, but it's not a beach recreation committee specifically, and so that was changed. Another change includes that instead of no animals, pets, and so forth, it says no animals except ADA service animals will be allowed on the beach, and ADA service animals must be leashed by main law at all times. So there are a couple of things in the no, you can't. One of them is, and there was some disagreement about glass containers. Now, this beach ordinance does say no glass containers, and at least one member of the recreation committee is saying that is not such a great thing, because in all her time there, she's only had with this beach, she's only had to pick up glass once, and glass is much more recyclable and ecologically friendly than plastic, which is true on some level. On the other hand, one broken bottle on the beach that gets in the sand and cuts somebody's feet
Yeah.
is pretty bad.
Yeah, I would fall on the side of no glass myself.
I do too. I think she was going to, so this is what she's submitted. I talked to Lenny the other day, and she was going to change it, I think, because Lenny's not with us tonight, I don't think, but that she was going to change it to some language that allows these glass containers that are inside a plastic
Yeah.
guard. You know the kind I'm talking about.
Yeah,
People
the
carry them for
insulated
water
glass,
bottles all
yeah,
the time.
Insulated glass, yep.
Yeah, so she was going to change that. So even though we've just said that we should send this to the lawyer, maybe we should wait to hear from Lenny to see if there is a change in that
Yeah,
before
I
we
mean,
actually ship it to the lawyer.
The association
'Cause-
has been randomly going to the beach and picking up debris and cleaning, and I know other people have been too. And then we were watching the porta toilet, because that's always a pain in the butt and an issue. And the trash around the porta toilet used to be a problem, but it seems to have improved. But there was questions about trash cans maybe being managed up at the parking lot level, so people had a place to throw debris as opposed to all over the ground in the woods. And I didn't know if any of that was in the ordinance. So I don't need to take up your time.
No, what it says, anything carried in by the beach user will be carried out by the beach user and removed from not only the beach, but the parking area as well. No trash cans will be available. We adhere to Maine State Park carry out standards.
Okay. Say lovey.
Well, and the fact of the matter is, we don't really have, there's been some talk about, well, if we have these beach rules, how do we enforce them? And do we budget to hire an employee for like
Yeah.
part-time or what to be there as a beach monitor? We also don't really have anybody in town whose job it would be to drive down there and empty the trash.
Yeah.
Presumably the guys who pick up our trash every week could dump a trash can that was down there, but the town could opt to have a dumpster placed down there, but that is one of those places again where when you put a dumpster in a place where there's nobody there to watch it,
Yeah. No, you're
they
absolutely right.
really fill up
Yeah, no, a
with
dumpster
all
would be-
manner of
a
stuff.
dumpster would be a disaster. Possible
It
covered
can be.
trash can maybe would be more manageable. But anyways, I was just curious if any of that stuff had been addressed in the new ordinance.
Well, it is addressed, and I just read you that section.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so, and seeing that, I did just notice that because Lenny did tell me the other day she was going to be making a change in that. So maybe we should give Lenny a few days, not send it to the lawyer right away. I'm glad we've approved sending it to the lawyer, but maybe we should give her a couple of days to submit that change.
Sure, well, it's up to you.
Well, yeah,
It's
that's
a
what I'm.
terrific asset for the town, and it's a big, people love it. And more we can do to, take
The
advantage of
beach
it.
is, yeah, it is. It's like the crown jewel.
Oh, yeah, it's awesome. So we just need to, keep an eye on it, manage it. We're happy to help in the association. Any way you think that we can add value, let me know.
Great. I appreciate that. You're a champ.
Well,
And
Commodore.
thanks for being here.
I'm the Commodore, right? I'm the
That's right.
Commodore, right?
That's right. So I've been told.
Yeah, they doubled my salary. I still make nothing.
There you go. Well, and yet you work hard. So
Well,
you
I
are
keep an eye on
appreciated.
it. All right, thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, so we've agreed that we'll send it to the lawyer, but we'll give Lenny time to make that small change. Fire warden report, I didn't see any.
Nope.
And as for treasurer report, we do have a account detail report or expense detail report. Is that it this time around, Leanne? Yes?
Mhm. Yep.
Great, thanks. Well, we don't have any calendar reminders, and there's nothing I can think of that would qualify as a calendar reminder this time around. Which brings us all the way to unfinished business. If I remember right, Lori, you were going to be thinking well about this grant,
Yeah.
this GoPIF grant, and some of the ways we could use that.
Well, I haven't done too much yet. I was thinking I'd like to ask them about solar power. In fact, I
Like-
mentioned it to Leanne the other day. You know how some of these towns are putting in solar power? They're doing all these solar panels in the fields thing.
Yes.
We got that land up there. Why couldn't the town?
Oh, are you
attack
talking?
it?
Are you talking about up at the old transfer station? With a
Yes.
solar farm up there?
Yeah.
Wow, that would be
wouldn't hurt-
that.
I mean,
That is
that's a good-
innovative.
Good spot. It won't hurt nobody. There's no houses. Animals
Well,
can play under them. They're tall enough so
And
animals.
that's, you're right. Well, and the thing of it is that's what they're talking about in these areas where the ground has been fouled by the
Yeah.
forever chemicals, these farms that have been shut down. The one thing that the people could still do with their fields is to have one of them solar farms, because the solar farm, it doesn't really matter if the ground underneath it is contaminated. And if we were to go with something like that up there, then we would have, I mean, we've still got the woodlot just below there, but the actual old dump has got a fair amount of solar potential, I think.
Yeah.
It's got a slope, and so on. And then we'd never have to worry about whether there was some contamination under the ground. That was one of the issues if we were to sell it as a house lot.
Yeah,
that-
that's right. Was because
That could be a real issue. Well, good thinking. I like the way you're thinking out of the box, and
I've
that's
seen them
excellent.
spring up all over the place, and on the news there was one town they voted one down because of where they were going to put it. They weren't against
You
it,
know.
but just where they were going to put it. So
Right. Well, nobody's going to be looking at that anytime right off. So it's a lot less likely to run into issues. Of course,
Right, 'cause there's no houses,
maybe they
nothing,
need,
no
maybe
houses,
they need,
nothing,
but
and-
maybe they need to be, of course, there's also no power line up there, but I guess that could be
Yeah,
fixed.
yeah.
But maybe they need to be where people kind of keep an eye on them so that vandals don't smash the glass or something. I don't know.
I
Or maybe they
don't
need a
know,
chain link fence around them. I don't know the details about how
I
those
don't
things
know
work.
because there's that one there they put in, they have goats go in there and clean up the field all the time and keep the grass down, I guess.
Right, because they have got to mow underneath them otherwise, right?
Yeah. No,
Dr. Who-
well, they would in some
We have
places. I guess.
a combination goat farm and solar panels.
Yep.
Rick Gammon just put in some. Rick,
Who did?
Okay.
Rick Gammon just put in some down across the road from his business.
Yeah, well, that's probably not a very big one. I'm talking about, a big one.
Well, I imagine he's got some big ones. I forgot how
Well,
many panels.
Well, the other thing is, while we're thinking outside the box, the town hall has got, on the side where the snow slides, has got great southern exposure. And it would be possible to put some panels on top of there and be turning the meter backwards for our buildings
Yeah, because
right
it's a
close to
lot
home.
better than
That might,
having-
so that's another possibility to look into.
Yeah.
Lori, I love the way you're thinking outside the box, and I really look forward to hearing more about this.
Well, they talk
Mhm.
about that all the time on the news, and it's better than those other things,
Better than, it's better than any number of things.
Lee, there's
So-
one thing you might consider if you pursue that. They are making solar panels now that are angled, of course, to capture as much sun
Yeah,
Right?
every day.
yeah,
But they are actually, they pivot vertically to allow farm management and what do you call it, erosion management and whatever underneath them. So they actually can be raised vertically for management and in case your goats.
Oh,
die
for
or whatever.
mowing or whatever.
Yeah.
I like the, I like the
goat.
goats idea a lot. I don't
Yeah,
even
me too.
particularly care for goats, but I like the idea.
Well,
of
sheep,
tending it
and
with
cows, anything you could put up there that could graze there. you
Yeah,
know.
well, yeah, yep. I think goats are probably the better bet. The ones I've seen out in Livermore are really kind of low to the ground. I don't think you'd even get cattle underneath them. But maybe that's just my
I don't
perspective
know. I've
from,
never been up beside one to see how high they actually are, off the
yeah,
ground.
yeah. Well, I like this. I like this way of thinking. That's excellent. Thank you for that. Well, anyway, moving right along. I want to move fast tonight because Leanne wants to get home before it changes over to snow.
Yeah, because they expect it to any time now, because the
Well, it
temperature-
could anytime now, and it's 34, so it's
yeah,
getting
the
colder.
temperatures are starting to
The
drop.
temperature's
so-
dropping, so let's move right along. I love that idea. Good work, for sure. So Sumner Public Works meeting update. I was there and Kathy was there.
Well, I was there.
You were there on Zoom. We couldn't see the Zoom screen, but I guess I understood you were there. So we were
Yes.
there. Kathy, would you like to tell about it?
Well, they was trying to figure out if it'd be cheaper for them to go with their own trucks, their own public workers. And the town of Canton had a few selectmen there, which they have their own public safety crew.
Right, they were there on Zoom.
Yeah, and I kind of think we changed their mind a little bit. That I think they come to conclusions that might cost a little more money doing it that way than the
Yeah.
contracting out what it is now.
Yeah. So one of the things I remember from the meeting in particular was that, one of their big concerns, there were two main things. One is, should we form a public works department? And they'll still look into that, I'm sure. The other one that was really important to them was the condition of their roads, because their road conditions have deteriorated quite a bit over time. And of course, Hartford's have been getting better all the time. And I was interested in the comparison because before last year, they had $210,000, I think, for the roads. But before that, it was $170,000 a year every year, which is pretty much exactly, or actually a little bit under half of Hartford's road budgets. Funny thing that Hartford's roads are starting to look good and theirs are been going to hell in a handbasket. But nonetheless, I think that they're going to come up with somewhere. They wanted to know a little bit more information about how we did our road bond. And so, they're looking into ways that they can catch up on their roads.
They got a long ways to go.
Yes, they did. Yes, they do. Bless their hearts. And but the fact that they had this meeting and the fact that they're talking about it shows that they have the will to get her done. And I'm sure that they, given a little time, that they will. Okay, next. Furnace repair town hall. Kathy?
Yep. Steve Ellsman come down. Mike Spear come down and Mary Oil come down. Now Mary looked everything out and measured. They would give us an estimate on a new one. Steve Ellsman, he did the same thing, but we haven't heard from him yet. And Mike Spear kind of thinks he's checking it out. He's not sure for certain, but he's checking it out on rebuilding what we have.
In other words, to reline the firebox.
Put in a new one, new firebox.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying is, to
Right.
repair the inside, because the outside looks good, but
yeah.
clearly
else is-
it's got a crack of some sort.
Everything else is good. He went down to the town garage to look at, someone thought maybe we could use that one in the town garage, but he went over and looked
Yeah.
at it. And that's altogether different type of
It's
furnace.
not the same kind of, that's what I was thinking.
The one at the garage is a ceiling one. and plus it's not big enough anyways.
Right.
So he's supposed to check on that about rebuilding the one we have.
Excellent. Thank you for that. What was I gonna say? How is the furnace holding out?
All right.
Meanwhile?
All right, so far,
You've been kind of keeping an eye on it?
yep.
Excellent. Thank you. Okay, so the next piece is kind of in the same vein as heating oil supplier. We do have a letter in here. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, here we go. Yeah, we did get a letter from Blanchard's. And they said they'd happy to do our oil deliveries for us. They do pricing for the towns at 30 cents over the cost of the oil, which is just about enough to pay them to drive out there with it. Okay, and so she says,
Fabian gives us 52-cent discount per gallon.
okay, are we comparing apples to oranges?
Yeah, I guess so.
I don't know, because what's a 52 cents discount compared to 30 cents over the cost of oil? How does that, I mean, how can I measure that and compare that? I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know.
Not without knowing the price, yeah.
I mean, you two probably both read the letter from Jessica at Blanchard's,
Yep.
right?
Yes.
Yeah. So she said that before delivering, they need to do an inspection on the oil tank. We did replace that tank. Well, not that long ago. You know, certainly in my time, you know, and so I don't think it's old as all that, and we've kept it full and kept using it. So
No, there's nothing wrong with the tank.
no. Yeah. I don't remember what year it was. Leanne, do you remember when we replaced that tank?
No, you don't.
No. She probably remembers that we replaced it though.
It looks fairly good though.
It's just not that old. You know, I'm gonna say it's 15 years old maybe. And I like to think that, you know, that it would last that long. If we're not getting water in our in the oil. In any case,
They're all supposed to
Blanchard's-
send in their estimates to see.
oh, the furnace repair people?
All three of them.
Yeah, well, but we're actually moved on to the subject of the oil,
yeah, no.
the oil
Yeah.
supplier.
Yeah,
And one of the things about Blanchard's is they don't have an in-house technician, but there are numerous local folks that would come out to help us out. I mean, just look what happened when you called Fabian on the weekend when the furnace wouldn't run. That I was very unimpressed by that. You know, what was it, $250 to start out with, and then $170
It was
an
100
hour?
no, it was 150 an hour and 250 on top of that.
Yeah. Yeah. 250 just to, you know, just to open the case. So, well, anyway, we were very fortunate that Steve Ellsman came in and helped us out with that. In any case, I don't know how you feel about changing oil suppliers. When we talked the other day, you seemed to think it was a pretty good idea. Do you have
Really?
thoughts about this?
I
I
don't.
guess I would like to know what they're getting per gallon.
So would you like to table this and look into it further?
Cause I do CM Brown out of J, so I don't, and
Uh-huh.
I do K1, so I don't know nothing about oil. Price of oil.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that's not in this letter that she did tell me when I called her up about this is that she would also give us at 30, I think, what do they call it? 30 minus or something like that. 30 cents over the cost of oil. They would also give us that price for any heating oil for general assistance.
Hmm.
So, that would give, because usually there's a set amount that I'm able to help people out with, like I might help them out with 100 gallons, but, I don't help them out by the dollar figure. I help them out by how many gallons they're allowed for a given emergency situation, or because they are in need. And that could make a difference to the town too, when we are making those purchases.
Mm-hmm. You can check into it more.
You would like to check into it more?
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's table that for now, because let's not forget, we want to get Leanne home as soon as possible. Okay, so open session. Does anybody have anything for open session? Make it snappy, folks.
Not me.
Okay, so new business, Edward McDonald Safety Grant. Okay, amended recently to not require matching funds. And I saw that Leanne has actually filled out an application for that. Thank you very much. That is great. And in particular, outside lighting at the town office.
Yeah, I was
There's no-
talking with Leanne about that the other day. I told her she ought to buy some of those solar ones. That way it won't cost the town electricity. Put some small ones around the building. 'Cause I have one on my shed. I have
Well,
one
now,
back
no,
door.
no. Didn't we have a lighting upgrade kind of recently with LED lights that would save the town money, plus they were supposed to like have sensors, so they came on like motion sensors, so they weren't on all the time. They were only on when somebody was there.
Yeah, but those are still run by electricity. These
Didn't
solar
Doug
ones
put
aren't
them
run
in?
by electricity. They run by.
Doug put them in. Doug put them in.
Because I have two in my own house and they work fine. Don't cost me a thing other than to buy
And
one. and
I've
stick 'em on.
actually got a little one out front, and it works. It's actually, it's not that, it's one of
Not
those
that
really
bright.
tiny ones.
Yeah, well, you can
It's
get all- you
not
can
that,
get
it's
all
not that
sizes.
bright, and it's great in the first few hours after dark, but before morning it will have quit.
Yeah,
And
but
that's probably because of that's probably because it has old battery.
but you can get all sizes, so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that way we wouldn't be using any electricity. Once you buy one, that's it for quite a few years.
Well, I don't know that it says here, total cost of equipment, attach the quote with the application, and we don't have a quote on it. So,
I know she was looking them up, so.
mhm. Well, and do we want to just go shopping and find the lights we like, or do we want to find somebody who's going to do an installation for us, which would make it a little bit more expensive, no doubt,
Well,
because
the
when you hire
solar
somebody.
ones, you just stick up yourself.
He's waiting for Greg Young to come down. Give a quote.
Solar ones, you just stick up yourself.
Okay, so if we're gonna wait for Greg Young to come down and give a quote, shall we table this for now
Yeah, I would.
and for more information? Okay, let's do that. Moving right along, appointments and resignations. Do we have any this week, Leanne, that you know of?
Nope.
Great. Well, it's probably just as well. And we have some trainings. And I noticed that, let me see, here we go. Introduction to General Assistance. I am not interested in this for myself. Either of you might be interested in I think that Lori has taken this at one time. And then let me
Oh,
fish through my papers. I know I have the rest of this. And then we have an MMA webinar on the ARPA, the American Rescue Plan Act. And that is Wednesday, March 2nd. And it is a live webinar by way of Zoom. I could probably attend that, or one of you could attend it. I guess I'd like to suggest that one of you might like to go to this and come back with the information.
Leanne
You
would
would
like
like-
to attend.
I move we approve the funds for Leanne to take this class.
Yeah, some people on the committees too, I guess, are interested.
Well, how many, is there $35 a piece? How many should we set aside?
Do you know how many? Let's see, Lenny. Probably 3 or 4. I
why
know
couldn't they just
Robin,
sit there and watch it with?
I know Robin does.
Sit there and
Okay.
watch it
Oh, budget
with-
committee. Oh,
Robin?
no,
I was say, last time I checked, she's on the planning board.
yeah.
I think we want to stick with budget committee members. Well, we have 5 budget committee members. Plus Leanne, so that'd be 5, that would be 6. What is that? 7 times 3 is $210. But we don't know that all budget committee members can or are interested in attending.
How many? 2.
Should we figure on
That's the same
3
meeting,
people
though?
in all?
What's that, Lee?
Should we figure on 3 people in all, 4 people in all? Here's the thing, if we were to approve for Leanne and the budget committee to attend, that's $210, if I'm not mistaken, out of our training budget. But if there are people who can't attend or don't want to attend, then they won't attend, and it's not going to cost us. That would be the ceiling. It would be the ceiling of how much it would cost us for everybody to attend this. Well,
But if we approved, say, 4 and one didn't want to attend, would we have to still pay the one that dropped out?
well, if they drop out
Leanne-
at the last minute, maybe so. I guess what I'm going to say is let's approve it now.
Leanne's
course,
gonna
it's
ask
all-
them.
Okay, why don't we do that? Because it's March 2nd, so it gives us, it's almost a month away. We'll have another meeting and we can approve.
you got
the
another
funding
one
for
to-
that.
Here's another one, February 17th.
Another one of the same thing?
What? Almost, I guess. Virtual winter training.
And then there's this one about the, oh man. General assistance, my stuff is falling apart here.
Yeah, that one's about finance. One in February. Government Finance Officers Association.
Right, that's the one I'm trying, oh, there we go, I found the front page of that. Right, the Government Finance Officers Association, is that something you want to attend, Leanne?
She wants to do one of them, probably March 2nd. Or what?
I
Well,
guess
she
I'm
wants-
seeing them as being,
Leanne wants
I'm
to
seeing
do
them as
the,
being different.
Leanne wants to attend this February 17th.
Yeah, well, it is for government finance officers, and I think that includes her. Okay, well, why don't we, I move we approve Leanne attending the Government Finance Officers Association meeting. That's only $25, no less. And let's talk about the ARPA workshop at our next meeting.
Yep, okay.
This brings us down to review correspondence. Was there correspondence to be reviewed?
Do we have to second it?
Yes. Do I have
I
a second?
second it. I second
All
it.
in favor? Awesome. You want to ask Leanne if there's any correspondence tonight?
Just the sign up on Gurney Hill, the letter.
Oh, yeah, I did see that. The Holermans.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, thank you for that. Well, that brings us to time to adjourn. And Leanne gets to go home and, oh my gosh, I can't see what the temperature is anymore. But hopefully she gets home in the nick of time.
Lee, it wasn't my idea to go home or cancel the meeting. I don't
What?
mind driving in snow and rain.
Don't bother her. Don't bother her driving snow.
Yeah, but we
Sure.
wanted to get home safe because we don't want to lose her.
That's right. That's right.
Very good
Wait,
vehicle.
are you thinking maybe we should go on a little longer?
No.
She don't care,
Yeah,
she
I
said.
think it's still raining, but you never know. It could change over anytime, so.
Yeah, anytime now, anytime now.
I
Well,
just got a
Thank you all for
text.
coming.
I just got a text from Lenny.
Yeah,
Said she dropped a whole shepherd pie on the floor.
On
well,
that
there's a full-scale disaster. You know, I saw on Facebook that quite a few new cooks have come online, and I don't think the plow crew is gonna go hungry
No, I
anytime
don't
soon.
think
From
so.
what I saw, yeah.
No, I think they're gonna be all right, but still, what a bummer. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, good night,
Yeah.
everybody, and safe
Good night.
driving, Leanne.
That's right. Thank you all for coming.
We'll see you soon.
Good night.
Bye.
Night.
I'll let you do it. I don't want to mess it up.